Good day to you, everybody. Good day to you. I want to first tell you that I love you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for sticking with me, and I'm going to stick with you. When we talk about resilience, I want you to think about this. Your life is not about you. When things get hard, you need to understand that your life is not about you. The sole purpose of your life is to help other people. And when I think about that, it keeps me going. And then when I think about how did I get this resolve, how did I get this measure of focus as far as my mindset goes, I go back to my mother. So I'm going to use this story to illustrate what I want you to focus on. We were poor growing up, my brother and I. We didn't have much of anything. I remember other kids would ask for different things for Christmas and different holidays and even their birthday. And when you're young, sometimes you don't realize things. And then as we grew older, we realized that our mother was struggling. So it got to a point where we stopped asking for certain things for the holidays because I didn't want to put pressure on my mother to get something or try to acquire something to help us have a good day or be happy when it was superficial. We understood that certain things mattered more. How did we start to understand it, and how does that relate to resilience? Well, I'm going to tell you. I remember my mother would work 2 and 3 jobs at a time. She didn't have a car, and she would get up in the morning, fix us something to eat, whatever she could put together, walk my brother and I to school. And then at the end of the day, we would come home from school, and at some point in the evening, my mother would come home. She would fix us something else to eat, and you could just look at her and tell she was tired. You could tell that she wanted to be able to stay home and do more things with us. And after she fixed what she had for us to eat, she would go to her next job. This went on for years. She never complained, but there would be times at night I would hear her crying. I would see a look in her eyes she was almost broken, and she would muster up the energy to just tell us, hey, I'm doing this for you. I care about you. I'm doing fine. She would tell us that to just keep going. Then on Sundays sometime, my brother and I, because she would be at work, she would say, you guys got to walk to church. And my brother and I, we were probably about 9. He was about 9. I was like 7. And we would walk to church. And I remember we didn't have a lot. And my brother would I would get his hand-me-down clothes to the point where she would have to take the hem out of his pants and give them to me. You would see the line where the hem was removed on my pants. I would get his shoes, and sometimes we'd walk home and our feet would be hurting so much. And we would take our shoes off and walk home because our feet hurt. But the thing about it was when you took your shoes off, you couldn't put them back on because your feet, it's like they expanded once you took your shoes off. And we'd walk home. And I'm not making this about my brother and I, but my mother did everything she could to take care of us. What point am I trying to make to you? I think about my life sometimes. People look at me and they say, wow, you're doing well. You don't have to work anymore if you don't want to because you've been able to establish your lifestyle. Well, guess what? The reason that I continue to work and the reason I continue to help is because my mother showed me that your life is not about you. And if you're able to get comfortable, you share your comfort with other people. You share the lessons that you learn with other people, but you don't stop trying to help other people. And so when times got hard for me, and trust and believe, they have gotten hard. There's been sickness. There's been betrayal. There's been all of these things that made me want to quit. I simply looked at the example of my mother. My mother told me a story too. She said, Anthony, you're not supposed to be here. And I was like, I know. I tell people in my teachings, the odds of being born is 1 in 400 trillion. She says, no, that's not what I'm saying to you. That's not what I'm stipulating. She said, I only planned on having 2 children, and I had your brother. I said, okay, you had your brother. You had my brother and you had me. She said, no, son, I had my brother. I had your brother, and then I had your sister, and your sister died as an infant. And so when your sister died, I had you. The point being, you need to understand, she was telling me that you have a purpose. But everyone that's listening to this, you need to understand that you have a purpose. Think about someone who sacrificed in your life to help you get to where you are. Think about someone who's sacrificing your life to help you maintain where you are. I don't care how hard it gets, and I know it gets hard. I don't care how difficult it gets. I know it gets difficult. I watched my mother suffer. I watched my mother try to do the best she could to establish a life for my brother and I. And I'm telling you, the lesson for this week is don't make your life about you. Love gives itself. Love gives of itself. Love extends. Love continues to go on because it sees beyond its own circumstances to something greater. So this week, love and base your love on how you can assist others along their path. And if someone is still around who's helped you, do me a favor and let them know how much you love them and how much you appreciate them. So that's what this week is about. The resilience point is when it gets hard, don't make it about you, make it about others. And return the gift of life through hope, through aspirations, through services to other people. Like, share, subscribe. I love you all. And I'm going to keep pushing as long as I have breath because that's what my mother and others did for me. Peace and blessings to you.
You're going to think, some of you going to laugh, some of you going to cry, but we're going to get better before this is over. Understand this, there is no such thing as tomorrow. Tomorrow is aspirational because when tomorrow gets here, it's going to actually be today. So what are you doing today? What are we doing today as a collective body to make sure that we can make things better? Live your life.
A passionate Anthony Brinkley is a problem solver. He's an author and motivational speaker using his skills after decades in the military to teach people how to be resilient and take action.
The most valuable thing in your life is time. Every day in America, 7,000 people die. So 7,000 people that thought they were going to wake up today didn't. Anybody besides me never thought they'd be 30 years old? Put your hand up. I would get up and put my mask on. Hey, Brinkley, how you doing? I'm doing great. And that's why I come here to talk to you, to remind you that you're not what you went through.